September is National Preparedness Month, and it's also the peak of hurricane season for us here in Hampton Roads. FEMA and Ready.gov have teamed up for an awareness campaign called Prepareathon. Joining us now is Shelley Weingrad from Bayport Credit Union to talk more about Prepareathon and how taking steps now can make a big difference in an emergency. So, tell me about this Prepareathon event and what's it all about?
Well, every year FEMA and Ready.gov get together, and this year the initiative is Prepareathon. So September is National Preparedness Month every year, but they're really focusing this year on educating all of Americans simple, actionable steps that you can take to be more prepared in your home life for your family and your friends in the event of a disaster. So every week in the month of September, there's a new theme.
Okay.
It's called the how-tos. So week 1 in September is how to reconnect with your family. If you were around for 9/11 and old enough to remember, all the phones went down. And if we're having a major catastrophic event, cell phone lines are going to go down. So how do you reconnect your family? You have young ones at school, you're at work, and you might have someone at home.
So have a plan of action.
Have a plan of action. The best way to prepare for that is if you have a family member that lives outside of the area, they're going to have phone service.
Right.
So everyone calls that one family member. I have
touch base.
I have an aunt in Charlotte. So our plan is call my aunt in Charlotte. Hey, it's Shelley. This is where I am. This is where I can get to. This is how much cell phone battery I have left. And then my husband can call my aunt in Charlotte. My children can call my aunt in Charlotte. And then we can call her back and find out where everyone is and say, okay, everyone can get home, everyone go home.
Right, so everyone kind of checks in. So that's week 1. And then week 2 is how to plan for specific needs before the disasters?
Absolutely. And the biggest thing about preparing for a disaster is you don't know what kind of disaster it is.
Right.
How much advance notice do you have? If it's a hurricane in this area, you have potentially a week to prepare. If it's a tornado, you have moments, minutes. So you really have to know what you need to do. So you need to know, do you have children? If you have to evacuate, I have a 5-month-old. I need formula, diapers, bottles, bottled water, things of that nature. Do you have pets? If you're leaving, can you take your pets with you? Are you willing to leave your pets behind? Do you have medication? Anyone in your family sick? How much supply do they have? If you have to leave and you don't know when you can come back, do you have a month's supply, 2 weeks supply? And what about your extended family? Do you have elderly grandparents? What is their situation? Are they in a home, a retirement home? What's their plan of action? Where are they going to evacuate to? And the biggest thing, especially coming from Finance Matters, is what kind of cash do you have?
Right.
Because if the phone lines go down, every time you swipe your card, how is that transmitted? A telephone line. So how much cash do you need? Where are you going? Do you have enough supplies? Things of that nature. So all things to think about and have a plan before it happens.
So that's week 2. What is week 3?
Week 3 is how to build an emergency kit.
And we should all have one of these?
You should have some sort of emergency kit. A good example is when I was home on maternity leave, we had a tornado warning. So did I have a kit? I did, but not one with an infant. So I'm throwing diapers into our shelter-in-place plan. I'm throwing the formula in there. So you need to have food. You need to have clean water. You need to make sure you're rotating that because canned goods do expire. You want fresh water. You need to have cash in your emergency kit. That way you can grab it and go. Depending on your position at your employer, what are your expectations there? If there's an event, are you expected to be at work? Or are you expected to stay home with your family? If you're expected to work during an emergency, you need to have one of these kits at home so you don't have to worry about your family. But that you know that they're taken care of.
All right, so the entire month of September, we've done the 3 weeks. What is the 4th week?
4th and 5th week in September are practice. Practice makes perfect. So how do
practice your plan?
Practice, exactly. And so how do you practice that? You practice taking shelter in place in case of a tornado. Where are you going? Are your supplies in that location? Practice calling your out-of-town family member, so that they know when you call what you're expecting of them. Practice evacuating. Should there be a house fire? What's your evacuation
Kind of
route?
like your own little drill.
Your own little drill. And you need to do that on a regular basis, maybe, quarterly or every 6 months. Just make sure everyone in the family knows what they're doing.
Right. Because especially when there is a disaster or some type of situation, you have to think quick. You might not know what to do, so it'll come better and be easier if you are really sure where everything is and who you need to call and what you need to have in your kit.
Exactly.
Those are some great tips, and again, it's all about Prepareathon and the how-tos and all that. So to learn more about Prepareathon and all those how-tos, and you can actually download the digital toolkit, visit Ready.gov/September. And for more information on National Preparedness Month, or to talk to financial matters with any of our Bayport Credit Union reps, stop by any of the Bayport Credit Union locations across Hampton Roads. You can also log on to bayportcreditcu.org. Thanks, Shelley, for all the tips.
Thank you very much.